On the world stage right now, we have the Ukraine and Russia. Looks like invasion, war, all that is going to take place. And then there's other elements of the world stage with Mr. Trudeau up there in Canada. And just here in America, a great division among Americans over ideology. And so the stock market is impacted by all these things. And I want to talk to you today about bear markets. At least one of our indexes is going into a bear market. You know, a bear market is when prices are down significantly in the stock market. 20% is a guideline. And since 1928, there's been 26 bear markets in the S&P 500. That's one of the indexes in American stock markets. And so, how do you invest during a bear market? Or should you take all your money out? You know, the bear market, when it's down, what should you do? Well, first off, perhaps you need to be prepared to buy. The best time to buy is when things go on sale. In 2020, when the pandemic started, my wife and I put $4,000 into the stock market. And in preparation for this video, I looked up what that $4,000 investment is now worth. Those $4,000 are now worth almost $8,500, just shy of $8,500. Now, because of inflation and all that sort of thing, even though it's up $4,500 in gains, buying power, it's up about $3,500 in gain. Well, that's just less than 2 years to gain that significantly, almost a 100% gain in your buying power. That's significant. How did we do that? We bought during a bear market. You have to be careful in bear markets. I carefully invested $4,000. Now, $4,000 will not totally destroy Renee and I. So, Brother Fox, why don't you put $400,000 in? First off, I don't have $400,000 to put in, okay? If you don't have the money to go in, you can't do it, okay? I could have scraped together more than 4,000, but that was all I was willing to risk. You know, because bear markets are tricky. They're very tricky. Now, bear markets are usually shorter periods of time. They're not as long as bull markets. Generally speaking, bull markets have lasted a significant amount of time, and bear markets, on the other hand, may just be a few days, a few weeks, or it can go a few months, but typically the bear markets are much shorter than the bull markets. Now, you got to be careful even buying during the bear market. Don't risk everything. Like I was saying, risking $4,000, that was a big risk for our family, but I thought it was a calculated risk of doing business. You know, when you're buying stocks, if you're buying ETFs, or if you're buying mutual funds or even individual stocks, you're taking risk. But friends, just to live is a risk. Getting inside of a car and driving, you're taking a risk of being in a car wreck. And so we all take risk, and so we've got to calculate the risk. You got to be careful. I like buying during down markets, but I'm not going to risk everything we've got on it. But I do save for such a time as a bear market. Now, I want you to resist this urge. When things go down, resist this urge. I'm taking all of my money out of that stock market. I would not suggest you do that. I had someone in the last few months who has a significant amount of money in mutual funds. She said to me, she's a widow, and she said to me that day, said, yes, I remember when the market crashed, that I lost everything. I said, now let's think about that. I was working with her on her finances. And I said, now, did you really lose everything? She said, well, my husband and I, we lost half of it. Yes, you actually did lose about half. I said, but didn't it all come back and more? Well, yes. Didn't your husband say, let's leave this in? And see, he was right about that. When there's a crash or a big correction or even a bear market, that's not time to take all of your money out. No, no. You need to put things in gradual, and you need to take things out gradual. Sometime I hope to make a withdrawal strategy um, to help you that are going to begin taking out your retirement savings and so forth, and how to withdraw if it's just the right time to withdraw. Maybe you want to stay in those stock for 10 years, 20 years. You don't want to be in the stock market for the next 3 weeks. Don't do that. This is for the long term. Now, long term might be 10 years. That might be long term for you. For others, it might be 30 years. It just depends on your age and many circumstances in your life. But we're getting off subject. Let me get back on subject about this bear market. Be careful about buying. Be careful about risking everything during a bear market when you buy. But resist the urge to sell it all. Be very, very careful about selling during the downturn. You're going to lose a lot of your funds that way. Now, I want to say this. No one can perfectly time the market. You just can't do that. And bear markets are unpredictable. You say, well, it's down 25% now. It must have hit the bottom. Not necessarily. It might go on down another 25% where it's down 50%. So a lot of folk use what's called dollar cost averaging. I do that. Every single month I have money taken directly out of my account on a particular day every month and invested in mutual funds. Beyond that, I do dabble a little bit, and I use Robinhood. I'm going to put my Robinhood link up, that if you join using my Robinhood link, I'll get a free stock or a free partial stock, and you will get a little free partial stock or stock. It'll be free. And I dabble a little bit in that, and I've actually done percentage-wise quite well with Robinhood. But I make small investments. I'm not a big investor. I work for a big God. Jesus Christ is my Savior. He's almighty, but I'm a tiny little fella. But I have tried to study this book about finances. This is the best financial book in the entire world. And when it comes to the stock market, no one can perfectly time it. You can't do that. Bear markets are unpredictable. During bear markets, watch essential stocks. Look at solid companies. Investing is not short term, it's long term. And so during the bear market, don't take it all out. Don't risk the whole farm in it. But it probably is a good time to buy into some solid companies during the bear market time. That's my plan. Why do we want to have funds? Well, I need to provide for my family. If I don't provide for my family, I'm worse than an infidel. That's what the Bible teaches. And so I need to provide spiritually for my family, but I also need to provide even financially for my family. And so I try to study money and how to invest, and I try to teach a little bit to my friends and family members and you that watch. Now, I'm not a financial expert, but I have studied this a bit, and I know some of these things I'm telling you are absolutely true. I'm giving you my best opinion along with absolute 100% facts. And I'm trying to tell you how I do, and I hope it's a help to you, because I want you to be successful with your money. Why? So that you can give in the cause of Christ. My wife and I last year gave more money in the cause of Christ than we ever have. And we're hoping here in 2022 to have an even bigger year of giving. Do your giving while you're living, so you're knowing where it's going. So be very careful during this bear market time. If it even becomes a full-blown bear market, at least some places going to. Be very careful not to lose it all. Don't risk it all. but it may be time to buy. That's my best. May God bless.